Hello everybody, Good Buddy Q here with 2021! Hooray! New year! Last year. But in the last year, I have realized something. It has been many years since my last top 10 Hetagames lists, as people have brought up to me. So I thought, hey, it's been a few years, I've played some new games, I should redo them. And here we are. So first off, we're going to go with the best. Well, I say best, but that's not what I mean, because all games are good in their own right. What I mean is my favorite Hetagames, like the ones I will personally go back to, and when it comes to the worst list, it's the ones I least like. So it is personal opinions, my favorite game, maybe someone's most hated game, but and so and so. So these are my opinions, so please take them with a grain of salt, yada yada. Of course, this is the best one, so... well, my favorite one, so... anyway, let's get to why y'all clicked on the video, shall we? Ah, yeah. So, top 10 best / most favorite of mine Hetagames. Go! Number 10, Heta Oni. So this is a revolutionary game when it came to the Hetagame genre, especially at the time of its release back in like 2010, and introduced Hetalia Gaming as one hell of a concept to the entire fandom. No one can go without mentioning it. And not to mention, like I said, it's over 10 years old and yet is still one of the crowning achievements of Hetagames, for the most part, and still extremely popular. It handled the crossover aspect really good of taking over a lot of Aoni aspects, so for Aoni, that's one good for me. Yeah, it's real good. The reason why it's number 10 is because it's aged a lot. And I will go over that in the next top 10 because there is something having to do with that with the next one. But yeah, still, I still can, appreciate what it has done and what it is to this fandom. So, Heta Oni, good job. Number 9, Zero Spirit Focus. One of the first Hetagames I found on the side while Let's Playing, and was extremely good, even though I knew and know nothing of Fatal Frame series. It's based on Fatal Frame 2, I'm pretty sure? It even had animations, and it had a really good horror atmosphere, and it combined really well the camera function from Fatal Frame and doing it in battles, which I thought was really cool. It, at the very least, inspired me greatly back then, and I still hold it nice in my heart as a good starting point of showing what Hetagames can do. Number 8. Mortality. A beautiful game about Sweden and Finland's relationship in a new angle. The scripts, the music, the art, all of it was just so wonderful. Not to mention it's about, as the title implies, the mortality of nationkind after such devastating events. For those looking for a short and sweet, in-depth look at some of the existential worry, but also some hurt/comfort genre, this is the game for you. Number 7, Romahetta. My first Hetagame ever. Even before I started YouTube, this is what introduced me to the concept in the first place. Made by the same person who made Heta Oni, it's about America and all the nations being stuck in an RPG game Japan made, and it's getting exceedingly more virus-laden and dangerous as time goes on, while everyone's trying to find a way to escape. It was, and still, is a grand inspiration for my fantasy works. However, there isn't quite yet a proper English playable version that does it justice. The last one I tried to play was extremely buggy and didn't use the proper graphics for it, which made me sad. I recommend watching So Did AG's sub of it on their YouTube. It's very good. It's aged well since, again, it is older than Heta Oni, but for a good back to basics, I extremely recommend it. 6. Hetaepsiety. This game made me rethink about the concept of the 2P game formula entirely. I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw the basic description of the plot, I thought it was going to be the usual run-of-the-mill, haha, 2P evil gonna murder everything plot that was so popular a few years ago. If this game has taught me anything, though, it's never judge a book by its cover. The art, the animations, the dialogue, the plot, the world building on the concept of what a 2P could be, all of them were tossed into a fresh new perspective and kept us on the very edge of our seats until the very end. For someone's introduction of 2P games in an action standpoint, I couldn't recommend this one more. Please do check it out. 5. Home. For those from my previous list, I bet you're surprised to see this so far behind the list, huh? Well, it's been a long time. This is a very wonderful game of Seelan's view from his family, from both the 1P and 2P perspectives. From the minigames to the characters and the darn near anything about it. It's captured my heart, and I still hope it'll be updated someday, though I'm pretty sure it's discontinued at this moment because the creator is really busy with life, but I respect that. For what it is, I extremely still love every little bit of it. As a previous choice was a prime choice of those who want an action-y 2P game as their introduction, this one is an absolute must to experience the 2P world in a more domestic light, for it surely does this and succeeds in every facet. Number 4. Reconditioned Mysterium de Olympus. It's so good. I know this is a smaller demo, but oh my god. The maps, the culture, characters, the art, the plot. I keep seeing it, but oh my god. I've seen previews of what the next part of the plot is gonna be, and I'm gonna make frickin' scream. In a good way. In the best way. I cannot wait. For those who love Greek mythology, the existential dread of nations just wanting to be human, the friendship trials of Greece, and one hell of an adventure, please check this out. 3. P. Okay. I know, I just played this on my channel not too long ago, but it literally made me bounce and buzz in excitement for days after I played it. Thailand especially is someone who is not represented often, but boy, he steals the show. Not to mention a ship I never thought about before, but now I'm enamored with. This is a horror game, if you couldn't tell by the graphics, and a point-and-click adventure no less. It absolutely turns on its head for one can do for RPG Maker and Hetagames in general, and it blows my mind. The cultural is deep and rich, and presented in a way for those who know next to nothing about Thai culture can understand almost immediately. The plot is terrifying, the romance is soaring, the visuals are stunning. I may have cried a few times during it, both out of sadness and fear. If you can stomach a lot of gore and scares, then please check out P. 2. Hetalia Floral Orchestra. Oh my god! A girl-centric game and a love letter to magical girl anime? What more can you say? As a lover of the magical girl genre, I was floored by the concept alone, but it sets up perfectly like its own anime series, and the villains, as it were, are perfectly tied with the micronations, and it just feels like it belongs so perfectly, and like I'm living a wonderful Hetalia magical girl adventure right in front of me, which it does. It's wonderful. It hits the fun cliches of anime, and other times it turns it right on its head. It's compelling, it's heart-jerking, I was hooting and rooting, sometimes for both sides, until the very end. I cannot recommend this one enough in the general, game experience in general. It's fully completed too, so it's like, yes, a whole adventure you can take in and see, and just get that, so good development, yes, just, yes, mwah, chef's kiss, yes. 1. 48 hours. Very little have I ever had to stop recording because I was laughing so hard that I was crying during a game. And this one did it real hard. For whatever reason, it punches all of my comedy buttons really hard. Not to mention it's a Germany romance plot, which even lends out to even more madness, especially when you throw Italy and Russia as matchmakers in the mix. It's still technically a demo state, but it has one romance option, but you can still play it to the end, and boy howdy, it is a wild ride from beginning to end that in a heartbeat I would play again, even with or without an update. It fills me with absolute joy, and I have to say, if I'm ever feeling blue or sad, I would turn to this to make me smile again. And that's why it's my #1 absolute favorite. So, did you guys ever see yours on the list? I'd like to hear what your favorites are. Do you agree with me? Or do you have others that you have on the list? Of course, I haven't played a lot of other Heta games, and when I asked around for opinions about, hey, what's your guys' favorite Heta games? Because there was just so many, I couldn't choose, more than 10. because, oh, there's so many. There's like over 100 Hetagames. And when I did, there was a lot of them that I haven't really heard of before. So I'm interested going into 2021 of going over what other people's favorite Hetagames are, and I'm excited to learn more and, you know, keep this going, because there is still hard fandom going of all these content creators, even during, you know, the new season coming up in spring. Yeah, but people have been doing it even before the new season was announced, and they just love the cause, and I cannot thank you guys enough for still keeping the spirit alive. And y'all, you should definitely +1 to content creators that are still going, even though it's like, oh, I thought this fandom was dead. No, man, we're still alive, and guess what? We're having fun. And who knows, I might have to wait a few years, because I might have to wait for a few more games to come out, but still, I'm having a great time. And it's just getting better. Technology's forming, we're getting stuff new apart. The Hetagame community is getting so much together that they're helping each other. Like, a lot of these games were game jam games that just hit me real good. Like, P and 48 Hours were game jam games. So, just stuff is keeping on turning, and it is so wonderful. So even if you made it in a month, or if it took you 6 years, there is still wondrous art to be made in content creation, and for those who have made the games, thank you so much for still continuing to do this craft, and for letting us enjoy just the artistic inspiration of yourself and what Hetalia has to offer. Yeah, that's all I got. So next time, join me for my top 10 least favorite. Again, they're not bad, they're not worst, they're just my least favorite games that I have played, because I have been asked that several times. So, yeah, have it at that, and have a good day, everybody. Bye!